Good evening. Good evening. Once again, I'm back. I am Taylor Bridges, and I'm back with another episode of Ready to Love Season 7. This is actually going to be episode 3. All right. This is actually a pretty cute episode. I'm glad to, similar to Married at First Sight, we're finally getting into it now. We don't the initial the introductions and whatnot, and we're finally getting into it and starting to see who's starting to couple up and feel each other in that whole thing. But of course, we already know every season somebody last minute towards the end is going to try to forge and force some type of connection to try to stay on the show. So I'm curious to see who that person's going to be. The episode starts off in the ladies' lounge. These ladies are beautiful. Every time I see them, all of them, so much melanin. Oh my gosh, they are just absolutely beautiful. I love looking at them. Is this the first season where the men and the women share a lounge? Because I always thought they were separate. Is this the first season? Because they're both in that church. Tommy tells them to show the guys a piece of themselves through the date and to share something with them that they normally wouldn't share this early on. Only a few of the women really took the assignment seriously. It was some kind of like a little lame of confessions here and there, but I mean, and honestly, that is kind of like a vague assignment. It's kind of like stupid. Like, I feel like if you're going to give something like that, make it a little more specific and really like ahead of time. Do y'all need to like ask them what their secret is going to be, like, to make sure it's like entertaining enough? Because some of these people did not give with their little secret. Okay. And we'll get into it. So to start off, it's Mercedes, Sue Ann, Mark Anthony, and Blake, and they're doing a Kangoo date. And it looked really fun. It looked super fun. At first, Blake and Mark Anthony were like, oh, heck no. But everyone seemed to really enjoy it. But this episode was my first time really getting that side of Blake where I'm like, all right, Blake. Okay, like, no, I don't have an issue with you not smiling much. That's not the problem. But you are, I can see why some of the ladies consider you to be off-putting, which we'll get into. Because Mercedes says it. Mercedes says she considers Blake to be a little bit off-putting. And a bit of them are. So after the day, they split off into double dates, and Mercedes and Mark Anthony are having a one-on-one. They're opening up, and it just seems super easy to flow, and they have just a natural flirtatious energy between them, and I really like seeing it. I'm glad they've gotten to have that one-on-one. Blake and Sue Ann are doing a one-on-one. They have a little bit of connection. To me, it's a little pointless, like this whole nickname. It's like stupid to me. I don't really see, like, y'all are 40. Like, Sue Ann's like 39. He's like in his 40s or so, or maybe they're the same age. It's like, what is all this? Like, they didn't talk about anything. But he has been married before. And I do like that he said he's not expecting, the next relationship to be a fairy tale. And I think that's a very intelligent assessment of how relationships really are, and an intelligent expectation of a relationship, a long lasting one. So that is good. They are getting pretty chummy. He has a different sort of personality, but he seems like a pretty nice gentleman. I think he's just one of those guys, once you get to know him a little bit, you understand him a little better. But he's definitely for a specific type of woman. Him and one other guy, which we'll speak about later. But he definitely has a strong personality, and I have a strong personality, so I get it. I definitely get it. But I do understand, like, not even trying, how you can like rub people the wrong way or be misunderstood, especially when it's such a strong, aura there. But I think he's not doing it. Like, you can have a strong personality and be a good thing. Like, you command the room, you work the room, all eyes on you, you mingle very well, you're very social, you're an extrovert. That kind of thing could be the case. But like, he's like an introvert with a strong personality. Like, so yeah, that does come off a little, so we'll see. Cynthia and Andre are on a painting date, and I love their energy together as well. Cynthia knows what she's working with in regards to men, and she, knows what they want, so we'll see. That'll either work in her favor or against it, meaning she could come off as a pick-me. Now, right now, she's not coming off as a pick-me. So, but let's see because if her actions aren't genuine with aren't in line with what she's saying, then it's gonna be pick me. Remember Trinika with the arm brace from last season, who was giving all the soft vibes and rubbing and all this and that, and yeah, men this, and she liked all the dudes that were a-holes and weren't eligible, and she was all soft and feminine. But as soon as she didn't get her way, twice she blew up and showed who the real her was. None of that was real. All that other soft stuff she was doing, that wasn't even the real her. Who she showed herself to be was the real her. So that's what I mean in regards to Cynthia. But we'll see. But I do have faith in her. I don't see why she'd be faking and fronting. She seems like a pretty authentic woman, and I like Cynthia. Andre says he likes a womanly woman, someone who's soft. And, Cynthia definitely has a defense up because of her past. And, I actually enjoyed their convo. Andre was extremely attentive and empathetic and communicative, and giving her a tissue when she started crying. Then when they ran out of tissue, giving her his apron to wipe her tears. And I love that he loved and was attracted to her vulnerability. That was really, really amazing to see, because I love that she was vulnerable and soft, yet very mighty and brave. Like, I loved that. I loved their date. I was like, okay, Andre, I like it. Like, I like it. I'm giving it face value. What I'm picking up from it. And I thought that was a very touching moment, because I know I talk a lot of crap about Andre's hair, which looks horrible, and he came off a certain way to me. I couldn't read him just yet, but so far he's seeming like a pretty genuine guy. I like him. I liked the way he handled Cynthia. And I like because he had interest in her from the first day she walked in to when they met with all, the 6 dudes, Cynthia and Jonique met. He seemed interested. He walked her to her car. And just to see them continuing now having this date, which was definitely one that kind of pushes them further along as far as connection goes. I thought it was really nice to see. So Corvea and Fabrice are having a bike riding date. He says he knows what kind of woman she is, with her hair and her beauty and all of that. And okay. She says she asked specifically for a guy who had a business and sold it. And she was like, it's not a monetary thing. And then he interrupts and he's like, there's nothing wrong with it being a monetary thing without it being about money. And that if I looked like you, I'd be exactly like you are. And it's like, that's not the compliment you think it is. You don't know her. So it's like, what is this? The beauty, the hair, all of this. You know what kind of girl she is. You know what kind of chick she is. You used to date your first love was from Puerto Rico. So you can understand her more than she can more than she can imagine. She's not giving the real her. And I'm thinking you're projecting your experiences with other young, beautiful women onto Corvea. Like, you don't know her at all. And it's like, that's so unattractive, and just like, I don't know the adjective to describe. It's just odd for someone to just project all these things. I know what kind of woman you are. If I looked like you, I'd move like you too. How do I move? Oh yeah, no. Like as if she's just like some city girl, just thotting and bopping. And if she were, fine. But it's like, she's not liking what you're projecting on her. She doesn't even like it. So clearly you have something wrong about it. She's not attracted to it. She doesn't find it funny or cute, or she's not enthused by these comments. In fact, she's like, no, I think she feels like a little like degraded or belittled or misunderstood. Like, and that's a real thing, that sometimes when women are serious and they are looking for certain things, they are judged by their looks, and it affects the way men treat them and talk to them. And I think to some extent, yes, as women, we can present ourselves a certain way. It is what it is. It is what it is. We're going to be judged. So if you present yourself, however you present yourself, people have the right to judge however they see fit, right? At the same time, I think that that's a real struggle for her, like, of wanting something serious and something real, and having to kind of weed out those men, weed out the good men from those who are just with her or just interested in her because she's pretty and she's arm candy, and they think they just know her and what she likes and what kind of girl she is, like, I don't know. I think that was pretty lame of him. Marcia, Morgan, Lyndon, and Tony have a beach date. Tony was very chubby with Morgan. It looked like they kissed on the lips almost. Morgan shares that she's never been in love before. I do think it could be a red flag. I do. I just do. Morgan is one of the oldest women on the show, if not the oldest. She is a little, I'm not going to say immature. I'm not going to say that. It just doesn't give as like that mature to me compared to her peers on the show who are like, I mean, the age isn't the big deal just because they're younger, but she's one of the, I'm pretty sure I think she's the oldest on the show. She looks great. She's beautiful, but I don't know. I think this is kind of weird. Tommy is very intense, but I like it. But as I said in my video, I'm like, is Tony about to share this cheer to as many women as he can? Because that's what it's given. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. You're here to date multiple people. That's the point. Until you find the person that you are ready to love. So I get it. It's fine. But Morgan picked up on it as well. So we'll see. Lyndon attempts to kiss Marcia. That went left. I think she's friend zoning him, but I wish she would have just been a little more direct, because even I was a little confused. I couldn't tell. I'm like, does she like him? Does she not? But then once he kissed her and she's like, then in the lounge at the end of the episode, she's like, I didn't want to kiss you, boy, all this. It's like, why don't you just communicate that? Because then you're saying like you want him to open up. So like, but like for what? Like for a friend? Like I'm sure this dude don't need any more friends. Like I hate when people do that, male and female. Like you're better off just letting them down and moving on. Like don't try to like coddle them and baby them and give this false hope because you don't want to like hurt their feelings and they're interested in you and you want to friend zone them. Tell them what it is so we can move on. So like that's it. So I was just a little confused about that, but he said too that he jumps the gun with kissing. Red flag. Ew, that's so gross. Like, and then you tried to kiss Corvea and I don't know, like what Corvea said, you tried to kiss her. Like, I don't know, you kind of need he's childish too. I mean, I already know how I feel about Lyndon. He's just super childish. Jeffrey and DeMario are on a horseback riding date. It looked super hot, like DeMario said. They discussed what it's like for her to have 3 kids and for DeMario to have none. He says that she's proven to have the time and financial management and is willing to help her. Fine. I think that sounds good. I think that does sound good. I think that that's easier said than done. So we'll see. I mean, it sounds good. You know what I mean? We'll see. We'll see. I wonder what the father situation is like, or if we'll even find out. You know, it's really technically none of our business, but I'm nosy. Look, y'all on a TV show. So Janique and Lyndon are at a wine bar. That pink look with the hair and the makeup, now that suits her super well. Her figure and her body type, because she looks pretty tall. Like, she's like a stallion. Like, I think that fit her really well and looks great on her. They do get along, Lyndon and Janique, but they don't have any chemistry. I mean, there's no flirtatious energy. They both just like to turn up. That's all they talked about, is how much they like to turn up. That's it. Like, I see friendship vibes here. I don't see any chemistry between them at all. So I don't even know why she invited him. Like, I'm pretty sure there are like other dudes she was like more interested in. But I think it's so interesting that so many women are like interested in Lyndon and he doesn't have his own place. But that's good for him, right? Like, that works for him. Like, the fact that he can still get, these great women in the market and live with his mom. Like, they don't care. So I that's great. Like, hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Don't listen to me saying that I don't want no scrub, blah, blah, blah. And granted, you're not a scrub for living with your mom. I'm just over exaggerating it. But 30-some years old, get on a dating show to be in a serious relationship. It's not far-fetched for someone to expect and have the standard that you have your own place. That's all I'm saying. Just because last episode, he kind of like, he's sensitive about it in regards to Corvea and how Corvea doesn't like that. And it's like, dude, most of us don't want it. You got lucky with this few group of girls on the show, and this little accent you got, but it'll wear off fast. Trust me. You need a place of your own. That's just that on that. She shares her share of the thing that she would say too early on, that she would normally wait to say once she gets to know a guy, is that she compares the men that she dates. I'm like, lame. Like, when you got like a Cynthia who's like really opening up, even like Mercedes, who mentioned like her last relationship ended because of, he cheated and had a baby. Like, I think that's, like, who else didn't open up? It didn't seem like Sue-Ann really opened up. Morgan didn't really open up. Like, none. Oh, well, yes, she did. She said she'd never been in love. But okay, fine. I'll take that. That's better than I compare men that I date. Technically everyone does that. Like, technically, in a way, we all take, like, that's not tea. Give us tea. Like, tell us something vulnerable and help us get to know you better. Like, I don't know. I thought that was pretty lame, and that's why Cynthia is now my favorite. I switch. I'm gonna have a new favorite every episode, ain't it? Because I like the transparency. I like when people come on these shows and they're serious about the process. Like, don't waste our time. Might as well go all in. Because the audience, we pick up on people that are disingenuous, and those are the people we end up not liking. Like, come on and for real, give the tea. What's something that, like, there's real things that, like, come on, like, that's all you got that you could compare men. That was lame. The ladies are back in the lounge to discuss the dates. They describe their dates. Demario, Tony, Lyndon, and Anthony are the front runners, essentially, among the ladies, and Fabrice and Blake are some of the least faves. Jeffrey says that Blake says he hates that he has to do this process because he's already found his person. I'm thinking she's about to say that Blake told her it was Sue-Ann, right? Or is it Morgan? Who was it? Sue-Ann. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was Sue-Ann. But no, it's Jeffrey. It's like, where did this come from? Pardon me. Where did that come from, Jeffrey? So she says he's been, like, super persistent, and it feels like they're in a relationship, that she hasn't been able to breathe. So I'm like, he's being fake. That's not cool, because the energy he gives Sue-Ann is, like, heavily, like, one of heavy interest. Like, he seems to be super interested in her. So I was thinking, should Morgan diss him, or should she keep vibing with him? Until he shows her this side. Because, like she said, I don't know him to be this way. But we have seen, this is great, because we've seen on the show both ways, where one of the women is telling the other woman, hey, I know he says into you, but he's really into me. He says it all the time. And it's been the truth. And then we've also seen it. Come on, Alexis, Lyndon, and Divine. We've also seen it where a girl is talking all this, saying this man is saying all this mess about another chick, and then it's like a lie. Now, granted, in that situation, it was a bunch of Lyndon was messy, and so was Alexis. But Alexis, like, Lyndon did actually have genuine interest in Divine, and blah blah blah. So we've seen it on Ready to Love, where it's been true that this dude is fake, and sometimes the girl is being the catty one. So we have yet to see, but that's kind of embarrassing, right? Especially when, like, she's, like, super connected with him. And isn't it, like, her only connection? So we'll see. She says, no. Yeah, I already went over that. Either Fabrice or Blake is going home. Fabrice is excited to see Marcia, and he's complimenting her, but he's also making her feel uncomfortable. And immediately I'm like, he's going home. It's an HR nightmare. And it's not worth it. Like, he's constantly making women uncomfortable and doing this. And that's super annoying. Morgan and Blake are meeting, and Morgan confronts Blake about the Jeffrey situation. He says it's an absolute lie. And I'm not making any judgment just yet, because it'll come out, because they're going to talk about it. So we'll get to see, based on their reaction when they discuss it, who really is telling the truth next episode. But I'm like, was he just telling Jeffrey what he thinks she wanted to hear? Or does he, like, really feel that way if he said it? Because he could have actually said it, but not really meant it. They do that kind of stuff on this show all the time, and in dating. Like, I'm not saying it makes it right, but I'm saying people do that all the time. Like, I'm with you, you my girl, you the one I choose. They do it all the time. That's what people do on this show all the time. So, if he would have came out and been like, I was gassing her up, I'm lying, then I would be like, you know what? I am not surprised. Like, okay, so you didn't mean it. You really like Sue-Ann, yada, yada. Still doesn't make it right. Doesn't make him a good person to date and trust, but it would make sense actually if he was just capping to her, because otherwise that's pretty extreme. It's like, Blake, do you kind of cling on, and do you have that controlling nature that you, like, known her for this long and now you're clinging on? And I don't know. That's a little red flaggish. Fabrice is eliminated. I think genuinely he is just for a niche female audience, you know. I don't think he's meaning to come off as he does, and I'm not making excuses for him because he definitely gives a creepy old man who's definitely not 44 years old. But I think he is just like for a specific kind of woman. That's it. I don't think he means harm. And he's old enough because he's 50 or higher. So 48 or older. I'll give him 48. He's definitely 48 and older. So he's stuck in his ways. However he's coming, that's who he is. He's just a sexual cat daddy. And there is some young Miami chick that is going to eat that right on up. They're going to love it. So I don't think you have an issue. I just think for this show and for that kind of personality, it's not TV friendly. We're going to chew you up, you know, the audience. And it's an HR nightmare. There's only so many episodes we can watch women be uncomfortable about you speaking about sex. There's only so many episodes they can, on the OWN network, show that. And it's like, you too old for that. Like, it's not that deep. Like, it's not that deep. And he can say all the time, he can say as much as he want about sex is important. Sex, it's not that serious for you to like make that the forefront of everything. Every time we talk, this is what we have to do. Like, that's not cute at all. Blake didn't take his feedback from the ladies well at all. And he's saying they weren't being truthful. And I'm like, their opinions are not up for a validity debate. They are what they are. That's how they feel. That's their opinion about you. That's how you came off to them. And he doesn't like Jeffrey putting him on blast. And he's like, he says he's going to be even more rough now than ever. No, thank you. And the fact that Sue Ann wants to keep moving on with him, like, no, that's a red flag. You're not about to tell me that because I'm not receptive to the way you're going about things, because you're off-putting and you're aggressive and you're not making me feel very comfortable and warm, that now, because you don't want to receive that, now you're going to act more rough with me. Like, nah. Do you have daughters? Like, you have 3 children. Like, is that how you want a man to conduct themselves with your woman? With your daughter? That's not cute. That's something he shouldn't have said out loud. Like, now you're about to act even more rough. That's spiteful, petty energy. That's petty. That gives, if you're in a relationship and you're not getting your way, or they're not answering the phone when you trying to call them, they're not texting you back fast enough, you're going to switch up. I don't like that. So Blake, I liked you. I gave you a shot, but I'm not feeling you anymore. And Sue Ann is looking real childish for you, girl, if you don't get another dude. And let me make sure, no, it was definitely Sue Ann. It wasn't Morgan. Yeah, okay, it was Sue Ann. Yeah, I'm not feeling it, Blake. I'm not liking you anymore. So it was no surprise you're on the bottom. You probably would be the next one to go home. That other guy, Anthony, wasn't on the episode at all, this episode. So I wonder why. I wonder if that was like intentional. Who else? Was that it? Can't remember. But he wasn't on there. So nobody wants to date him. But we'll see him, I think, next week, because the ladies like him. I forgot who said they liked him in the lounge. But nonetheless, it was a good episode. It was okay. I'll say it was okay. But it looks like next episode is going to give. And as always, I'm still super excited about the season. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you're familiar with Love and Marriage DC, that comes out tonight. As I'm filming this, it's Saturday, and I'm going to watch it and review it as well. So please tune into that and so many other show releases that are upcoming that I'm also going to be on top of. So I really appreciate the support. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Shall you find the desire to? I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see y'all later. All right.